So if I come forward and say that he spent the night with me, he's going to kill me. Like, and I'm pregnant with his baby. Like, I don't want to die. Hi, happy Webtoon Wednesday. I am going to be doing a review on the Webtoon called I Gave Birth to the Tyrant's Child. And in this one you follow a very amazing female knight who is actually one of the personal bodyguards to the emperor. Now you begin the story at a festival and you're following this brunette beautiful woman, and she's drinking and everyone's having a good time. She leaves her friends at the bar and she goes out to the streets and she grabs this random dude in a cloak and just tells him to dance with her, and they end up having a one-night stand. But when she wakes up, she discovers that the guy she slept with is actually the crazy killer tyrant emperor that she works for. Now this guy is known to killing women who approach him and say they love him. He's also known for killing just a ton of people, including family. He's just not a good dude. So she sneaks away while he is still sleeping and runs as fast as she can back to her home. And when she gets there, she takes off a wig. So she was wearing a brown wig as a disguise. And the very next day she goes into work and she's working for the crazy tyrant emperor and doesn't say anything. The emperor just asks her and her commanding officer, who happens to be her friend, if they had a good time at the festival, and they just kind of exchange pleasantries. So she thinks she's in the clear. Shortly after the festival, the emperor puts out a notice throughout the entire kingdom that he wants to find the woman that he had a one-night stand with. Now after a couple weeks, she starts puking every morning and getting sick, and she decides to go see a doctor. Not the doctor that all the knights are supposed to see at the palace. She goes to see a doctor in not the black market kind of street, but down an alleyway away from other people, where no one she knows is going to see her, or at least she's hoping that. So she goes to the doctor, she finds out she's pregnant. She's not happy because she knows it's the emperor's child, so now she's terrified. But also she starts having these really weird dreams about the emperor, where he's really kind and loving and holds her and tells her sweet things. And she goes to work where she's following the emperor around, and he's just kind of the same, and she knows he's a cruel man, so she tries to keep her distance. So she ends up getting to the point where she's almost not able to see the difference between the dream emperor and the real life emperor. So Illran is very hesitant to come forward and say anything, obviously, because she knows he's crazy. And she asks him well, what are you gonna do when you find the woman, or what are you gonna do if a woman comes up to you and says she was the woman that you spent the night with? And he was well, I'll kill her. Now her hearing this is oh, so if I come forward and say that he spent the night with me, he's going to kill me, and I'm pregnant with his baby. I don't want to die. So what she does is she just decides that she's going to run away for her own safety and the unborn child's safety. So she bounces. But when she leaves, the king sends his shadow knights or shadow warriors, something like that. It's one of those. He sends those out to find her because he knows she is pregnant with his kids. He knows this emphatically. He has he does have kind of magical powers in a sense, because he's actually been able to put himself in her dreams, and that's how he's been able to kind of keep tabs on her. When she leaves, she stays a night in the trees and puts her horse a little bit away, And while she's sleeping, he comes to her in her dreams and is like, if you come back now, this isn't like, we won't talk about what happened. Well, it'll just be all forgiven and we can live happily ever after. And she's like, no, we can't, like, because in her mind, she's thinking he's gonna kill her, like, as soon as she comes back. So she's like, no, I'm not coming back. And when she wakes up, there are shadow warriors or shadow knights all around her. There's like 3, I shouldn't say all around, but there are 3 shadow knights following her, and they're like at the bottom of the tree. She is able to escape, and she actually like goes and finds, like, she goes and makes her own living by herself. She just hides the fact that she's a knight. She dyes her hair brown with mud to stay in disguise until she can get further away from the Empire. She finds out that distance between her and the Emperor will prevent him from entering her dreams and being able to find her. As a side note, I do like the Shadow Knights a lot because their armor reminds me of Daedric armor from Skyrim, which I think is super cool because that's like one of my favorite games, and I love the Daedric armor. I think it looks awesome. But not only that, they're all assassins. You find out that every single shadow warrior was basically like in the same assassin organization that the emperor was in before he became the emperor. I'm getting tongue-tied. So they're very sneaky. They almost, to me, at first I thought they were like magic, because they just kind of turn into like this cloud of black and like just disappear or like reappear wherever, and that's not the case. They're just like highly trained assassins. So she is able to escape from the emperor and go into basically like a life of hiding and running whenever she feels like she needs to leave. She just kind of takes it upon herself. My cat's messing with my string. Stop it. Stop it. She just takes it upon herself that when she feels like it's the time to move and the time to relocate, she does. She is a very strong female character. I love it. There is definitely, she's not relying on anybody to help her. She does everything by herself. When she was younger, she was an orphan and she built herself up to become an imperial knight. I'm not sure if that's the technical term for it, but I'm pretty sure it's called an imperial knight, where she works for the emperor, and she is one of 2 guards or knights that go with the emperor everywhere, every day, basically. Like, she's very good at what she does. She's very talented. She's very smart. She's very clever. She's not a pushover. She's not like really, she's not very emotional. She's very rational. She is a very strong female lead. There are some other side characters, like the captain, or like her superior, like obviously has a crush on her and has feelings for her, and he overhears that she's pregnant and asks, like, just is like, why don't you just marry me? Like, we should do this. I'll take care of you and the baby. And he seems like a legit, really nice guy, all things considered. I won't go any further than that because I don't want to like give away too much. I don't want to, spill too many of the beans, as we would say once upon a time. There is sex. There's sex in the first chapter, but you don't see anything. It just kind of like the scene and the actions of the scene kind of just like lead you to believe they had sex, but you don't see anything. There is mild violence, like splashes of blood, but no gore. I don't really recall if there's any like swear words or anything like that. I can't think of any off the top of my head, but there might be. But if there is, there's not a lot for me to be like, this has a lot of cussing in it. So far, I really like this webtoon. I do think it's interesting. I am curious to see where it goes, because I think there is probably some more depth to it from the main male character side that hasn't appeared yet. Like, the main male character has appeared, but I'm saying you don't really get a lot into his character within like the first 20 chapters, somewhere around there. And where I am now, you are finally getting some more backstory and depth and a look into what actually happened to him when he was younger, to make him the way he is today. Now, I do think the female character so far is really strong. So I have a hard time seeing her have any kind of character development to improve her. I think if anything, personally, I'm only going to guess that the author is going to maybe make her like a little bit softer towards the villain in this, the Emperor, because he's the villain. I can see the author maybe making her, Illran, a little bit more sympathetic or tender-hearted towards the Emperor the further the story goes on. But again, it's not done, it's not complete. Like, there's only 20 chapters, I think, released right now, and that's about as far as I've gone. Anyway, thank you for watching. I hope you have a wonderful day. If you have any recommendations, please let me know in the comments. And yeah, bye everyone.